They say the body is the vessel of the soul. But in 1828, Edinburgh, Scotland, the body was a currency, and the soul was but collateral. This is the Afterveil. My name is Victor Corvin, and tonight we're going to descend into the city of cobblestone and candlelight, the beautiful, stunning, gothic Edinburgh, where the dead were not allowed to rest and the living learned to fear their own beds. Edinburgh, a city divided between intellect and decay. The surgeons of Royal College hungered for knowledge and for bodies to work upon, if you know what I'm saying. But the gallows provided way too few. Enter two Irishmen, William Burke and William Hare, later to be known as the Body Snatchers. Men of no education, no conscience, but perfectly suited for a job that required neither. It began with a simple accident. A lodger passed away, owing William Hare £4 in rent. Having him pass away, owing him money, what was the logical step? Selling the body, of course. So they sold the body to Dr. Robert Knox, a brilliant anatomist whose lecture hall reeked of both brilliance and formaldehyde. Knox paid handsomely. The transaction was quiet, and in that moment, Burke and Hare realized the dead could make them so rich. So they resorted to murder and put it into practice. Now, as much as I encourage anyone starting their own business, I cannot help but think this was a little bit unethical, but just a little bit. Their next customer didn't pass away by natural causes, that's for sure. She was suffocated by what would later be known as burking. One hand over the mouth and nose, and the other pressing on the chest, silencing the heart. The perfect murder for medical science. Soon, bodies appeared at Dr. Knox's anatomy rooms faster than Edinburgh's church bells could ring for them. The old, the poor, even the young. And yet the doctor never asked questions. Knowledge, after all, was blind and didn't matter where the bodies came from. Burke and Hare's partnership was not to last, though. The two fell out over a disagreement that Hare was trading with Knox and cutting Burke off the deals. This resulted in Burke taking his own lodgers, and that ultimately led to their downfall and capture. On Hallows Eve, 1828, Burke asked his lodgers to wait because a distant relative of his mother was coming over. That distant relative of his mother was none other than their last victim, Mary Docherty, the 16th to be more precise according to their resume. When Burke's original lodgers returned to collect some items they left behind, they were denied entry. So they later broke into the room and found Docherty's body. They reported a murder, but before the police arrived, the body had already been sold to Dr. Robert Knox. These gentlemen work fast now, don't they? Both men were arrested and turned on each other. As the story hit the press, friends and families of the victims came forward to identify their clothes. However, without the bodies, there was just simply not enough evidence to charge the pair. This was the case until Lord Advocate Sir William Ray offered Hare immunity if he would testify against Burke, and so he did. Hare agreed, and the trial began on Christmas Eve, 1828. William Burke was found guilty and sentenced to death by hanging at the Lawn Market in Edinburgh on the 28th of January, 1829, before a crowd of 25,000 souls. His body was given to medical examination. Funny though, directly on Robert Knox's table. Ironic. The man who sold so many bodies became one himself. His remains can still be seen today at the Surgeons' Hall in Edinburgh. I guess it's safe to say that he really did leave something behind. Dr. Knox was cleared of all charges as he claimed that he never knew where the bodies came from. However, he was forced to resign his position as curator of the Royal College of Surgeons Museum. He was later then expelled from the Royal Society of Edinburgh. But what happened to William Hare, though? Lord Advocate Sir William Ray kept his promise. William Hare, the betrayer, was granted immunity for testifying against Burke, and that made the city very, very angry. The very streets of Edinburgh whisper his name with a hatred colder than January frost. After Burke's hanging, Hare was smuggled out of the city in secret. A carriage was waiting for him. He was last seen in Dumfries, where a crowd recognized him. They shouted, they threw stones, nearly torn him apart. But the constables managed to drag him away and vanish him into obscurity. Some say he fled back to Ireland living under a false name, doomed to wander blind in one eye as punishment from the mob's final blow. Others whispered that he was murdered on the road, his body dumped in a ditch, unnamed, unclaimed, the very fate he had given to so many. But truth be told, no one knows. No grave bears his name, no records mark his death, as if the earth itself refused to swallow him. Perhaps that's justice enough. Poetic, actually. Not to die, but to disappear. Not to be buried in soil, but in silence. In the end, Burke's remains became a warning. Dr. Knox's reputation withered under scrutiny, and Hare was lost to history. The hunger that drove Burke and Hare, greed, desperation, curiosity, still lingers in every dark corner of the mind, where morality bends to ambition. My name is Victor Corvin, and this is the Afterveil, from where I bring you knowledge of the creepy, mysterious, and the macabre. Remember, knowledge may illuminate, but it can cast shadows just as deep. Talking about body snatchers and graveyards, do consider watching the first episode where we get in depth of the dark origin of the graveyard shift. It's not just a phrase that you use at work when you're on the night shift. No. Its origin is very dark, and we cover it in that particular episode. Keep your lanterns lit. Until next time.